Great, now we know what a project is. A temporary initiative that is agreed, planned, and executed to achieve a specific goal. So once we have our project, and that project has been selected by the board of directors as the current initiative, it's down to one person to make sure that project's execution is successful. Can you guess who that one person is? The project manager, that's who. But what exactly is their role? Let's discuss. The project manager is the CEO of the project. They will be accountable for the project's success. And for a project to be successful, it needs to accomplish the specific goal of the project within the prior agreed time and budget constraints. Everything needs to fit neatly into the project management triple constraint triangle, which we looked at in the first lesson, remember? In fact, by assuming the project manager position for a project, the project manager implicitly agrees to work within these constraints and still meet the goal. Now, that's a big responsibility. What if the time frame and budget are insufficient? A project manager can't shoot themselves in the foot and take on a project that is unlikely to be successful. Therefore, when the project management triple constraints are put in place, they must be realistic. It is the project manager's duty to assess a project and deem the constraints practical or otherwise, and if otherwise, they must demonstrate why to whoever proposed the project, and negotiate for additional time, resources, or an adjustment to the goal itself. Of course, a project manager is well within their rights to refuse to head a project if they feel the difference between the set constraints and the realistic expectations is too large. In real life, however, the time and resources will usually be just enough to complete the goal. The project manager's job, then, is to best utilize them. And this is by no means an easy task. And often, project managers will be accountable for multiple projects at the same time. Okay, so we've been throwing around the term accountable, but never actually defined it. What does it mean to be accountable? Let's start with an example. Can you guess who the person in the picture is? Well, we'll see in a minute. Let's focus on the sign first. The buck stops here. The meaning of this phrase is that the responsibility for any given work or situation will not be passed to anyone else. It is a promise or commitment by the primary person not to run away from their responsibility. The metaphor comes from the game poker. In order to avoid cheating, players agree that a different person will deal the cards between the games. To mark the next one in turn, usually a knife with a buckhorn handle would be passed from one player to another, and from there, passing the buck. This has later transformed into passing the responsibility or passing the blame to someone else. Now, the person in the picture, proudly keeping the sign on his desk as a promise to the nation not to run away from his responsibility, is the US President Harry Truman. The message is that I will not run away from my responsibility, and when hard times come, I am the person you need to come to. I will face the difficult situations and look for a way to overcome them. So, although with a different job title, the 33rd US President can be an inspiring example for all project managers for the right attitude they need to practice toward their teams and organizations. Great. Let's go back to the question. What does it mean to be accountable? The formal definition would be to commit to achieve a certain result and then deliver this commitment. Simple enough, but a lot easier said than done. Let's shed light on the magnitude of this commitment. Project managers are accountable not only for their own tasks, but also all the tasks that other parties must work on and complete. This includes the project team members, support functions, managers, vendors, and other stakeholders. Any work that is important for the progress of the project. To achieve successful completion of the project, the manager needs to have full control and visibility on all project-related work and take actions immediately when identifying something is not progressing on track. They will be on hand to help others overcome their barriers and keep them motivated, all on top of their personal daily duties. Wow. Who would be crazy or brave enough to take on such accountability? Your friendly neighborhood project manager, that's who. But they do have some weapons up their sleeve: their skills, knowledge, and expertise. These will help them make the best decisions and direct the work in the right direction. But more about that in the next lesson.